I'm sitting here today.
Morning, Craig.
Hello, yeah, hoe gaan het?
Lekker,
Hi, my name is Craig and I'm definitely an alcoholic. I'm actually sitting here today and I'm looking at the room and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'm grateful for the fact that I can be here. That I'm grateful for the fact that the newcomers that come to this meeting are here to remind me where I come from. I'm grateful for the fact that I've got people in these rooms that have been here before my journey and during my journey to remind me of where I need to go. And you know, I'm grateful for the fact that I can sit up here 6 years down the line and be able to share a story that's mine. It's nobody else's in this room, it's only mine, and that's exactly what I battle with, is my life, my story, and where I come from. And today I'm going to share about where I come from and where I'm at the moment. And I mean, most of the people understand and have lived in alcoholism for the entire life. So have I. I mean, I remember from a youngster growing up, not feeling comfortable in my own skin, not being able to relate to my family members, not being able to. I always felt like I wasn't part of a family. I felt like my mom and dad had adopted me. I look at my brothers. My brothers are 6 foot 6 and 6 foot 8 tall, brown eyes, blonde hair. I come blue eyes, short, and that was my justification. That was I'm adopted. And that is how I led my life. Everything where I had to feel a part of, being a part of at school, I felt different. I didn't feel like I could fit in. I always had to be part of different groups, not specifically a group. So I would fit in with the nerds, I would fit in with the jocks that played rugby, I would fit in with the chess players, I would fit in with everybody else. And in doing so, wear different masks around different people. That still hasn't changed. I still do it today. You know, that is exactly who I am. I'll be that person for the rest of my life. The only difference is today I've got an awareness around that. Growing up in that with this disease in the background, I never thought I had this. I never thought I was an alcoholic. I didn't even think that I had a problem. I just thought that was normal for me. It was the way I felt was normal. And you know, growing up, going to high school. You know, I performed exceptionally well at sport and that, and that's where I would say my first taste of addiction started, was living off the affirmation that I got from being a star rugby player, being a star swimmer, being a star hockey player. And you know, that carried on right through until after school, and I lived off that affirmation. That was my first drug, I would say, being able to do things and get somebody to pat me on the back and say, well done, you know, you really succeeded in that. And you know, when I eventually left school and that, I started a career. I worked in the police force and that, and once again, the same happened there for me. I did exceptionally well in certain areas of the police force, and a lot of pats on my back and everybody complimenting me, saying to me, what a fantastic, job you're doing, etc., etc. And that actually virtually killed me in the police force, because it got into my head to a point where I believed upstairs that I was untouchable. I could do whatever I wanted to and nobody could stop me. And it took somebody in the police force to actually pull me aside and say to me that I'm a danger to society, I'm a danger to myself, and I'm a danger to the people that I work with. And I ended my career and I left, and I basically started in the hardware industry. My family background, my father has been in the hardware industry his entire life, and once again, Craig, being an alcoholic, and that I needed to live up to his expectation. And I wanted to be like my dad, and I have to follow in his footsteps, and I have to do everything the way he expects it to be done. And that's totally unrealistic, but I didn't know that. And I went and I lived a life like that, and I got into the hardware industry, and I became very successful in it, and did it. I did a lot of good, but in turn also doing a lot of damage, where I had no sport to fix off. I had no affirmation in that to fix off, but what I did was I had a very successful career to fix off. And that's what I did. Money became my God. Women became my God. And it literally created me to spiral out of control. I got to a point where I was ignoring my family, I was ignoring my children, I was ignoring the girl that I was involved with at the time, and everything else that was feeding into my ego was more important. I was jolling with people that were not good for for me as a person. Going with guys in the biker industry and in the bouncer industry and various other places, and people that are not healthy. And that fed into my ego, because I'm now hanging with the breakers, with the main mana, with the big boys of society, and that's how sick I was, because I thought that those oaks were the main man and the big boys in society. Meanwhile, they're the dregs of society, but that's because my sickness had taken me to that place. And I look at it today, I don't hang with those big boys. I don't hang with those types of guys anymore because I found a program that has taught me how to live life differently. And I look back, I lost my business because of decisions that I'd made with partners and that, and because of a bad partnership agreement, I'd lost everything. And in the process, not only that, I lost a girl that I was engaged to, I lost my sons and everything, and I lost myself even more. I eventually ended up on the streets and decided to, one of my brightest moments in my life was, I'm going to walk to Durban to become a beach bum. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I remember walking up, and I got to De Hoek Toll Plaza, and it was, I think, the first time in my life where I realized God was playing an important role in my life. Sorry. I got there and I had to I had to make a decision. The decision was I needed to pay to get through this toll gate. I didn't have money. And I look back now and I laugh about it because I'm a pedestrian. I don't need to pay to walk through a toll gate. I can walk through, but my head would not allow me to. That was the point where God had said, you're going to this place and no further. This is where you need to make a decision in your life. And it's where I turned the phone on for the first time in months. And at that time, my brother had put out, I don't know how, he did what he did with the internet and with people in this cell phone service industry. And the moment my phone was turned on, it pinged my brother, and my brother was able to phone me. And at that point, he said to me, what's going on for you, Boykie? And I haven't heard that term Boykie in years. And it was at that point where I realized I'm broken, I'm dead, I'm done. And I literally collapsed on the side of that road, and I said to my brother, I don't care, I'll do anything, just I can't do this anymore. And he said to me, wait there, we'll get somebody to fetch you, in which they did. They picked me up, they took me away, and I ended up on the house on the hill. And I came over there, I was a huge part of me was pretty defeated when I arrived there. Pretty defeated, but still there was still a lot of ego in me, and it was, I still can't see it. I still today, when I listen to guys that saw me when I came in and what they said, you're out there with your little Springbok shirt on and that, and you were prancing and you were this and that and everything. I was like, I can't remember that, but that is how deluded I was at that time. Although I think I was defeated, I still had a lot of ego in me. And, that standing on the side of the highway, hitting a rock bottom, I thought that was it, I'm done. For me, I've hit my rock bottom, I'm now finished, I can now come into recovery and that. And that wasn't the truth. I look back today, there was a rock bottom I hit while I was in the treatment facility where I got involved in a dishonest relationship, and I needed to get involved in that dishonest relationship. God will put you into places and things and that for you to learn a lesson. And it was for me to actually see what that lesson was. And that lesson is that drugs and alcohol is not the problem in your life, Craig. You're the problem. You're the biggest problem in your life. And I needed that to happen. I needed to be involved in that dishonest relationship to see that, because everything I did in that treatment facility, I did stone cold sober. I had no drugs in me. I had no alcohol in me. Every decision I made in that treatment facility, in that relationship, was done sober. And it was a realization for me when I sat in a group and I had concern after concern after concern given to me about how my behavior is erratic and the lies, the deception, and the things that I was doing that was not okay. And as much as I fought it, and I did, believe me, I did. I finished 3 months and I was ready to go to the halfway house, and I ended up 8 months in the treatment facility. So my real healing started 3 months into recovery. That's where it happened, and it had to happen with that dishonest relationship, when I realized that I'm now the problem. And that's the first time I could actually see, but I can now work on something because I know what this something is. And it was where I realized that I am truly an alcoholic. I'm truly a a person that has a problem, and is a solution to my problem. And the solution is pretty simple. Because I need to get out the way of myself. I literally had to get out the way of myself. And I struggled with that, and I still struggle with it today. Because my ego is a big part of me, and it still is today. I still have problems where I battle with my ego on a constant basis. But, I have the people in these rooms here that tend to humble me, tend to put me down. And it's happened on several occasions where people in this room have actually said to me, "You're not okay. You need to really look at your step 2 or your step 3, or where the hell is God in all of this?" And and those are words I don't like to hear. I really do not like to hear those words, but those are words I have to hear. And I remember coming out of the treatment facility and then starting recovery eventually, having to get out in the big wide world out there. And I look back over the years that I've been in recovery. Each year has a theme for me in recovery. The first year was for me to be enjoy recovery, find out who you are as an individual. And that's exactly what I did. I listened to my sponsors. They said, go out, go to the halfway house and fellowship and fellowship and fellowship. Everything had to be about fellowship, and that's what I did. And what that causes was I taught myself to associate myself with like-minded people. I taught myself to be around people that want what I want, and that is to get healthy and to get better. And, that spilled over into various other avenues of my life. And then the second and third and fourth year arrived, and each one had their own theme as well. And last year, the theme for me was relationships, and it was how to build a healthy relationship. And I look at people in these rooms today when they're in the halfway house and they want to get into relationships. My honest to God opinion of that is don't stay out of it. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. I promise you. Women are easy. Relationship not easy. That's fact. That stuff, it's madness. It is. And I laugh at guys that come to me, "Craig, I check you in a relationship. Do you think No, run, brother, run. Get away from it. Don't." I tried it. I was a year and a bit clean. I got my ass handed to me within 3 months. I was clever enough to go to my sponsor and say, "What do I do?" And he said, "The same as when you didn't ask, you go back and say, 'No, I'm sorry, no longer.'" And I did. The beautiful thing about it is I ended that relationship properly. I'm still friends with that woman today. She's married. And I'm friends with her. I go back over my career of dating when I was inactive. Those people don't want nothing to do with me today, even though I'm in recovery. They want nothing to do with me because of the damage I've done. I was 5 years into recovery, virtually 5 years when I was presented with a relationship. I'm now 2 years in that relationship, and it's hard work. It's hard work. Not the person, but the relationship, because different people with different opinions trying to share the same space. It's not easy. And this year for me, my 6th year, has been all about God, about finding my way closer to God, which it's strange how I came in. As I started my 6th year, it was like there's something missing in my life. There's something missing. And that's how I know I'm an alcoholic, because nothing's good enough. Nothing. I can have the best car. A week later, it's not good enough. I need the Lambo. I don't want the Ferrari. I want the Lambo now. And the same happened as if I had a really good run in recovery. But it's not good enough. I want more. And what is that more? And I've got a girlfriend. I've got a bike. I've got guns. I've got friends. I've got everything that recovery has given me so far. So what more? What more? And it hit me hard is that I need to build a relationship with higher power. And I look at these rooms today and I say to myself, what is the one thing that is consistent in my recovery from the day I started to where I am today? And that's higher power. That is what is consistent in my life. Because nothing I've done in recovery today, I did by myself. Nothing. Everything that I have in recovery today was given to me by God. And I take my my journey in addiction. God gave me a business. God gave me a girlfriend. God gave me children. God gave me a mother and father. The end of my addiction, where was that? God took it away from me. I didn't. God took that away from me because of what I did in addiction when I was in the thick of it. And coming into recovery, all of those things have been returned to me. But they've been returned to me with a contract. And that contract is, If you don't look after it, I will take this away from you. And I know that. I sit here today and I know that. I sit here with pain in my heart because it happened in recovery where I have not looked at, I've neglected certain things and it's been taken away from me. But I sit here with happiness because I can see it. I can, and then I understand that if I'm going to lead a life in recovery, I need to fulfill certain things. And my biggest obligation at this point in time in my life is an obligation to a higher power. That's my obligation. Because everything I put in front of that higher power, I'm going to lose, and I have lost. And today, I sit here, I have a relationship back with a woman. I have a relationship with my mother, my father, my brothers. I have a relationship with my children again. And just to show you how magical my higher power is in my life, 6.5 years ago, my son, my oldest son, threw down and said, I never ever want to see you, Dad. Never. I want you to stay away from my mother. You stay away, we don't want you. My son phones me now, over the last 2 months, virtually every day, discussing his path forward because he's leaving school. Talking to me about what he wants to do, where he wants to study, how he wants to come to South Africa, he wants to explore, he wants to do things. What have I done differently? What have I done differently to do that? All I know is that God's given me that ability to change that relationship, because I tried changing that relationship very early on in recovery, and there are people in this room that can attest to it because they've been part of that journey. I tried, and it did not work. Not in my time, only in God's time. And it was presented to me 2 months ago, my son speaking to me on a regular basis, and it's amazing. I'm a father again. But that's because of this program and my higher power. I look at it today, I came into recovery, I started working in a construction company, and I worked as a menial laborer. Today, the owner of that company has given me that company. It's mine. I stand here, I can't see that. I can't see the goodness that I've created because that's been given to me. I still think that I'm a piece of shit. But it takes those people to remind me and say to me that we're giving you this because of what you've done. But I couldn't do that alone because I've tried. I did that inactive. Today, I'm an honest human being. I'm a person with integrity. I have an ability to come to a meeting and sit down and for the first time in my life feel like I belong. This is the place that I need to be. I can honestly say in my life I sit here, I enjoy recovery. I love it. It's the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me in my life because I've never been loved by so many people at the same time. I have members of this fellowship who have been a part of my journey from the beginning, who have seen me fall and have picked me up. I've had guys turn around and see me digging a hole so deep and turning around and saying, you're going to get a hiding, you need to get out. And being real with me, we're saying, you're the arsehole in all of this. I was involved early on in my relationship where I was dishonest with her. I was talking to other women and this and that and everything. And it took members of this fellowship to say to me, that's not okay, Craig. That's not okay. And what did I do with it? I changed my behavior, and look where I am today. I'm in a relationship with a person that I do love and I care for. And that I could only see because of members of this fellowship who said to me, look how special she is and what she does for you. And that is recovery. That is to me what I've experienced in recovery. But I couldn't do that on myself because I know in active, I had my father, my mother, and many other people say to me the same as what was told to me in these rooms. And I couldn't see it. The only difference is that today I've stepped aside and I've allowed God into my life. I've allowed God to take over where I thought I needed to take the reins. And it's not easy. It's not easy. Every morning I go down on my knees and I ask God, please, grant me the serenity to get through this day. Guide me on this way and show me your will, because that's all I want to do. And I walk out that door and I swear, scream, rant and rave at my staff and pick up spades and chase them. And I behave like a muppet, an absolute muppet. I drive in the car and the guy cuts me off and I'm swearing and zap signing because that's Craig. There he is. That's the real who I really am. But I'm aware of that now. Today I've got awareness of that. And I don't get it right. At all, I don't. I promise you, there are days I battle. There are days I sit with so much anxiety and fear inside of me. and I don't know what to do. Got a solution. I pick up the phone and I phone somebody in these rooms, and I pick up the phone, I phone my sponsor. I pick up the phone and I phone Stelia and talk to them and tell them, this is what I'm going through, please help me. And they give me the advice and tell me where I'm going wrong. And the funny thing is, I'm open-minded to that today. Today I turn around and I can say, yeah, actually you're right, that's not what I'm doing and I need to change it. And the difference is that I put the action into change. And I sit here today and I can see that. But why I didn't see that back then is because I was in the thick of it. It was me in front of God, not God in front of me. And today that has changed. Today I sit here, I get on my knees in the morning, I thank Him for allowing me to get into this day sober. I thank Him tonight when I go to bed for allowing me to go to bed sober. Because I know that I couldn't do this on my own, because I did for 40 years, I tried that 100% by myself. Religion, you name it, I tried it. Nothing worked. And today, I sit here and I know that it's not me. This is not me. This program is not about me. This program is about the God of my understanding and about the people in these rooms. Because I sit here in a meeting today and I know that somewhere in this room here, there's somebody who's struggling with the same things that I've struggled with in my life. And maybe, just maybe, that I today will touch somebody in the way that the members of this room touched me in those meetings and guided me and showed me where I need to go. But I couldn't do that when I was sitting there thinking to myself that I'm better than you and it's not my journey and this is not who I am. I sat there in that meeting realizing that I just don't know what the hell I'm doing. I can't live life like normal people. Today, I still know I can't live life like normal people. Today I sit here and I'm riddled in anxiety coming into this meeting. Riddled because I've got to share. And nervous and fearful. And those are all the same things that I experienced in Active. The only difference is now I sit in it. And I feel those feelings and I enjoy those feelings. They hurt like hell, but they're lessons. Every single feeling that I've experienced has taught me something in my life. But I couldn't do that. I could not do that in Active. All I could do was drink, swear, scream, shout, lie, manipulate, sleep around, be an arsehole, drink. That's all I could do. Because every time I experienced those feelings, my solution was a bottle. Today, my solution is high power. That's my solution today. And today, I understand the meaning of a higher power and what that is to me, because, like I said about relationships, I've been in a situation where the relationship has been my higher power. And that's not okay. I've been in areas where work has become my higher power, and that's not okay. And the difficult thing in recovery today, which I've experienced, and I'm sitting here, and it's one of the things that I struggle still today with, is balancing everything in my life. Balancing work with relationships, balancing relationships with friendships, balancing just the way I feel at times, and not being erratic and all over the place. But when I'm sitting in it and I'm battling with it, the one thing that is consistent in my life is when I sit down and I meditate and I ask God to show me how to get through this. How do I manage how? Where am I going wrong? And somehow a thought or some process will happen in my brain where I can see it, or somebody in this fellowship or somebody in my life turns around and says something and I go, there it is. That's what I need to be doing, or that's what I'm not doing. And that's God. That's all God. That's not me. Because I've tried it in the past and it didn't work. Today it's about God. It's about what that higher power does for me, and what importance that higher power plays in my life. Because today I'm sitting here 6 years clean and sober, and I'm happy for the first time in my life. I will never change this for anything, just for today. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but I know for today, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to keep getting what I'm getting. And for the last 6 years, that's been sobriety and serenity. There are days I've had difficulties, I've had troubles, I've had problems, but those days are less than what they are when I was in Active. Today, I spend 30 days out of a month coming to meetings. And out of those 30 days, I could say maybe 5 days are bad days. The other 25 days are amazing days. But being the alcoholic of my type, I'll remember the 5. I won't remember the other 25. I'll only remember those 5. But it takes people in this room and my higher power to show me, but hold on a second. Look at where you come from. Look at where you are now. And I sit here today and I look at people in these rooms and I thank every single one of you for being part of my journey, for allowing me to actually walk this path. And I thank certain members of this room who have been brutally honest with me, who have shown me my path. In other words, you've loved me the way I needed to be loved. And I thank everybody for sitting here, listening to my share, and I hope that you guys have a good day.
Thank you.